been a while. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, this is just gonna need a little straightening. There we go. Susan Lazar, Heart Here, your transformational motivational moment with the congruent life. Uh, how's your summer been going? Hey, Nancy, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to just wait a few seconds for the algorithm to kick in. If you're coming on in, tell us where you're coming from. We have an international community. So grateful for all of you. Grateful for being present with you here today from my studio in Vermont, one of my happy places. And today we're talking about change. We're talking about what else is really possible aside from enjoying this Labor Day weekend. I'm excited to have this conversation with you about how we can use Labor Day for personal growth and reflection. So it's actually something I've been thinking about. Well, change has been on my mind, as always, living in the question over this summer. And this is something I've been thinking about, how using this Labor Day weekend, using this day today, can be a fantastic opportunity for each of us to actually transform our lives into greater, right? Whatever that is for you. It could be abundance, freedom, love of self, right? There's a huge shift going on with our two moons in August. And the information that's coming through is really, it's about loving yourself, loving your life, loving each moment. Have the love come from within. Stop looking for the validation on the outside to tell you who you are and what you are. I mean, that's what congruent living is all about. It's about being in congruence and harmony with everything that you be and do. Whether it's relationships, whether it's playing with your body, whether it's putting your feet on planet Earth, whatever that is for you. How about setting an intention as of this Labor Day forward to be present with what you're asking for the changes that you know are possible for you, for the planet, for us, for the universe. Kind of cool, right? Yeah. So many of us spend a large chunk of our lives engaged with a form of work, whether it's keeping busy, whether it's a work that you love, whether you're an entrepreneur, an executive, self-employed, shifting, navigating through different models, deadlines, to-do lists, whatever that is. I'm asking you to take a step back, an aerial view. I'd love to talk about that, and really ask yourself some questions about how and what you are creating. So Labor Day has historically been a date of honoring the labor movement and the contribution of workers. Yes. But I was thinking today we can also choose this as a day of self-reflection and personal growth. So it's about acknowledging the importance of rest and balance in our lives, in your life, because we live in a world that glorifies busyness. Would you agree? Yeah? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Rather than people actually asking you a question that invites a conversation about who and what and how you are creating in your world and how that can possibly interact with their world. Totally different question than what do you do? Yeah. So Labor Day can be a reminder that it's okay to take a break, step back, and assess. It's a day to reflect on work-life balance and to set meaningful targets for ourselves if you're not already creating in a meaningful way for you. So I'm proposing that we use this Labor Day as a reminder, as a chance to ask those big, uncomfortable questions. Like if you're working with other people, with employees, should I give them more flexibility in working remotely? Should I start a new business? Should I take a leap into entrepreneurship? A lot of people are asking that question right now. What kind of training do I need? And the biggest question of all is, what is it that I'm asking from my life? Right? Because your life is a living entity. Your life just doesn't happen to you. What is it you're asking from your life? You chose a body for this human experience on Earth School, and that has to do with creating a life. So is your life giving you back what you're asking from it? I'm going to say that one again. Write it down. Is your life giving you back what you are asking from it? So that actually would have you sit down for a minute and just write, what am I asking from my life? Just to pick a column on a piece of paper. What am I asking from my life? And then on another column, ask, is this true? Like, is this really true for me? And then on a third column, we did this actually in the academy the other day, Congruent Living Academy. Ask yourself, okay, which one of these is possible for me? And then as a fourth column, what's my next best step? So this Labor Day is a chance to actually consider how these small changes that you're asking to activate might boost your happiness, morale, productivity with your team if you're working in business, enhance your life, enhance your fitness, enhance the nurturing surroundings that you place yourself in. So the truth is, small changes give a surprisingly big boost to productivity, to focus, and to energy. Small changes. And that's why I'm asking you to write those 4 columns out for yourself and ask yourself, okay, is this creating the change that I'm asking for? Because the reason why I'm very adamant about writing things down is that it gets it out of your head, right? It's very hard to create change and create with change when you're in your head all the time. Your head will go into the subconscious, your head will go into all the reasons why you can't. When you write it down on paper and just simply ask yourself, is this true? Is this true for me? Like, in other words, this might be something you wanted out of your life in your 20s, in your 30s, at 50 and 60. Is this really what you're asking for? It's important for you to be present with what you're asking for. Now, somebody wrote me in recently and said, Susan, you talk about targets a lot. It's something I struggle with. How do I start? Well, start by these 4 columns that I mentioned, and then understand you're not alone, right? Setting targets is important, but they should be what we call SMART targets. Now, SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant. Relevant to you, right? When we ask for change or big change, we're often looking at what somebody else is creating, how they're creating, what they're creating. Hey, Tammy, welcome, welcome. But what I'm asking you to do is to ask yourself, are these targets, these changes that I'm asking for, are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they achievable in terms of, when you keep something in the dream world, it's either always achievable or always non-achievable. So I'm asking you to put it down on paper, right? What's my next best step here? Is it relevant to who I be right now and to what I'm asking to create in the world? Because it's amazing the changes we go through. They say the first third of your life is about acquiring, whether it's, information, whether it's monetary, whether it's relationship, whatever that is. The middle area of your life is about really generating and using that you've acquired. And the last chunk, we'll say third of your life, is about giving it away. It's about being the crone, if you will. It's about being present with what you have to give, with all of that knowledge. So that's why we want to ask, is the targets that I have, is it relevant? Is it still relevant to me and what I'm asking to create in the world? Because there is that thread that goes all the way through your life. Tap into that. That's who you truly be. So on this Labor Day, right, take time to reflect on what you truly want to achieve in those different aspects of your life, whether it's health, whether it's relationship, whether it's time management, right, whether it's finances, whatever that is for you. Ask yourself, am I really heading in the right direction of achieving what I'm asking to create? And now then I'm asking you to, again, have a re-listen and use the tool, the exercise I just gave you about dividing into 4 columns and write down those actionable steps. Now, I spent years researching all kinds of ways, for those of you who've been following me a lot, like Nancy, where we, how can we make our lives happier? How can we healthier, more productive, more creative? And I always use myself as a guinea pig. People in the Congruent Living Academy know that. I'll say, oh, here's something new I just discovered. And I share it. We share it. So in the course of your everyday life, it's often difficult to find the time and the energy to ask those big questions. So that's why I'm asking you, take an aerial view today, right? Take an aerial view today. And so I do in my investigation, how I'm living my life, and become a champion of using like time and space and these quote unquote holidays as a catalyst for reevaluation. I like to have things to play with, so I use them as a catalyst. Like January 1st, often identify changes in the upcoming years. When I was traveling the world with Right Relationship for You, we would use Valentine's Day to celebrate and investigate loving ourselves. Your primary relationship is the one with you. And so you can reflect on any time of the year, but it's often fun to have something to hang your attention on. And so this Labor Day, use this time to pause and review what you've learned and to reflect on what you want from your life going forward. So I found this to be true in my own life. And I periodically take that time to reflect in a different way than I do from just meditating every morning and writing down what my guides are telling me. I actually look at how I'm creating. I call it a coffee date with my business. And I use days like today to really be present, not run around and be present. And ask myself some of those big questions. Is how I'm creating relevant? Is what I'm creating with, what is the soul of that I'm creating with, and what is it asking of me? So, I've used this Labor Day as a place for reflection many, many, many years. One year it inspired me to leave a modality I was part of and create tapping into what I knew to be true for me, the Congruent Life Method. This year, I'm using it as a commitment to finish the book, Breaking Free, and have it come out hopefully by December. We'll see. I'll be sharing more of that with you. So for you, what is that? Is it about finally leaving that 9 to 5? Is it about tapping into what brings you joy that you've been putting aside? Is it about pursuing a more nurturing, transformational relationship with yourself? So again, it's about being present. It's about acknowledging that learning is a lifelong journey. And any day, using Labor Day today, can be an excellent time to invest in you. When I say invest in you, I mean invest in you. Take the time to really look at how you're creating, what you're creating, and where you'd like to go next. And think about, what new skills are you asking to create with? Is it a hobby that you want to revisit? Personal growth comes from expanding our horizons. So, giving back to the community, right? It's a wonderful aspect of personal growth. Acts of kindness, community involvement can be incredibly fulfilling. So have you integrated that in your life and living? Is there a place and space where you're giving back, right? Where you're considering others, where you're finding ways through volunteering or supporting local organizations to have you grow as you give back as well. Any questions before we come to a close today? If you're just coming in, have a re-listen. We talked a lot about really being present, and an exercise that I gave you so that you can actually write down what it is that you're asking to create with. And asking, is it still relevant? Asking, is it true for you? And then pick one that you really know you want to play with as we head into the last months of 2023 and create with. And then what's my next best step here, right? Change is in baby steps, one step at a time. When we honor those one step at a time, there's something that happens mentally. Hey, Janet, welcome, welcome. There's something that happens mentally. We start to trust ourselves. And so that's why in the fourth column that I've mentioned before, you will find what's my next best step, and then what's your commitment to creating that next best step. Give yourself, that's where the SMART comes in. Give yourself a time. Yeah. I don't see any questions. Again, if you have questions on any of this, Come on in later, hashtag replay, pop in your question. I check in every day. And I'm so glad to be back here live. Change is our theme for this month. Somebody wrote me and they said, Susan, I'm feeling inspired and I don't know what to do. So I would say the next step for you is to take action. Don't let these thoughts and ideas just sit idle, right? Write them down. Start implementing them. Start with the small steps. And remember, this conversation is just the beginning of your personal growth journey. And it's important that we support each other, right? How do you support each other? By writing your questions in here, by continuing this conversation. And if you're, I always say, what is it that you're asking to create, right? It could be just peace and harmony from within, and that's not just that's huge. Yeah. And if you'd love to have more information on that, I'm always up for a heartfelt conversation with you. Let's use this Labor Day as an opportunity for personal growth and reflection, and keep the conversation going as we embark and continue to embark on this journey. I'm happy to share with you any information that I have about creating a strategy for you in going forward, in creating a life you love. Because this is your one true precious life right now on this planet. And don't spend the time on the sidelines wasting, right? Get in there. Let's get in there together. Because it's easy to overlook the larger meaning of living a life, right? Think of it as this is your creation, and you can create anything you want. I know you can. And if you need that extra help, just tap in, and you can book a session with me at congruentliving.as.me/path. And that session will be about creating strategies for you to go forward and what else is possible. So we're going to be talking about change. This is the time of change, tap into those 2 new moons. It's huge. And we're coming into 2 full moons, and we're coming into a new moon, I think around middle of September. So there'll be lots of change, more change coming through. It's being asked of you, right? It's being asked of you. Hey, Caddy, welcome. So, join the revolution of change, right? Don't watch it from the sidelines. This is your one true precious life again. Thank you so much for joining me. I adore you all. I appreciate you all. I am blessed, truly blessed to have you here with me every Monday. Again, hashtag replay. Come on in with your questions. And if you want to have a heartfelt conversation about really those questions going on for you, but I don't know what to do next, Susan. I'm lost, or I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I really would love some direction. That's my jam. That's what the Congruent Life Method's all about. So tap in at congruentliving.as.me/path, and book in a strategy session for you. All right. Have an amazing day. Oh, thank you so much, Janet. I'm so blessed. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. As always, I have such a hard time saying goodbye. Bye. See you next Monday.